Hello, my dear students. Let's start with the part 4 of the topic metal casting process. In this part, we will see the steps used for making a simple sand mold. So, making a simple sand mold. For very good understanding, you can also use the video used in the part 1 video lecture. So just I'm going to summarize this that video as a point wise so that you can write in the exam. So the first one is the drag flask is placed on the board. Okay, this board can be the floor of any bench or table. Second is the dry facing sand is sprinkled over the board. Drag half of the pattern is located on the mold board. Dry facing sand will provide a non-sticky layer. Next step is molding. Sand is then poured into cover the pattern with the fingers and then drag is filled completely. The next one is sand is then tightly packed in the drag by means of hand rammers, pin hammers and butt hammers, which are for the different steps of the hammering or compacting or tightly packing. Okay, so next is the ramming must be proper. I must neither be too hard or soft. Too soft ramming will generate weak mold and imprint of the pattern will not be good. Means if we make a very soft molding, then the mold cavity can be enlarged, so the product will be larger than required. Too hard ramming will not allow gases, air escape, and hence the bubbles are created in the casting product. Means if the air is not taken out from the molding, then that air will be inserted into the the molten metal, and it will created the cavity inside the product, resulting in defects is known as the blows. Moreover, the making of runners and gates will be difficult. The next step is after the ramming is finished, the excess sand is leveled and removed with a straight bar known as strike rod. The next point is vent holes are made in the drag to the full depth of the flask as well as to the pattern to facilitate the removal of the gases during the pouring and solidification of the liquid metal. It is done by the vent rod. Means simply just put the vent rod onto the surface of the mold and throughout drag and cope flask. Like this, the finished drag flask is now made upside down, exposing to the pattern. Understood? The just rotate the drag flask by 180 degree so that it will show the other side of the drag box, so we can see the the upper part of the pattern. The next point is coop half of the pattern is then placed on the drag pattern using locating pins. The coop flask is also located with the help of pins. So these points are also included in that part 1. The part 1 is starting 2 to 3 minutes are just these points. If you can understood that video, then we can you can write all the points related to this topic, making a simple sand mold. So I'm just reading these points, just like a sprue pin of for making the sprue passes is located at some distances from the pattern edge. Riser pin is placed at an appropriate place. The next is filling, ramming and venting of the cope is done in the appropriate manner. This is very important points. The next point is the sprue and riser are removed and pouring basin is made at the top to pour the liquid metal. Next is the pattern from the cope and drag is removed. Runners and gates are made by cutting the parting surface with a gate cutter. A cutter is a piece of sheet metal bent to the desired radius. The core of the making A central hole is now placed into the mold cavity in the drag resets in the core prints. Mold is now assembled and ready for the pouring. These are the points which can be understood by the first part. So if you want to write every points, you can write, and very you can write in the very concise way. So the minimum 10 points is required for the your point exam point of view. So thank you for this listening my this lecture, and in the next part we will study the pattern and the allowances used in the metal casting process. So thank you.